Good morning, everyone. Some people have very big dreams and work their entire lives to achieve them. For example, everything about Stu Leonard's dream was big. The Guinness Book of World Records listed his store in Connecticut as the world's largest dairy store. Visitors included tourists, families, politicians, business people, and celebrities from around the entire world. Everyone was amazed at what he was able to accomplish at the shopping theme park, the petting zoo, the life-size robot animals that sang and danced, and the dozens of pictures of Stu with so many famous people. The New York Times called it the Disneyland of dairy stores. Books and documentaries highlighted Stu Leonard's success, and when he started his own management school, the biggest corporations and government departments sent people to attend and learn his skills. And President Ronald Reagan even gave Mr. Leonard a presidential award for entrepreneurial achievement. What a great ladder to have climbed to the top of. Wouldn't you love to have dreams and accomplish something like this in your life? Unfortunately, Stu Leonard made some serious mistakes climbing up the ladder of success. His reputation crumbled as authorities stopped him at an airport with $75,000 in cash before he boarded a plane to the Caribbean island of St. Martin. After the investigation and trial, he was charged with tax fraud, and his scheme to divert more than $17.1 million in cash register receipts was uncovered. He then served almost 4 years in prison and was released when he was 67 years old. Why is this story so important for us today? Because Stu was very smart, but perhaps a little too smart. Stu was very wealthy, but what he had was not enough for him. He wanted to be even wealthier and wanted to be even smarter than everyone around him, including the government. He climbed up the ladder of success. He climbed up the ladder of wealth. He climbed up the ladder of intelligence, the ladder of fame, the ladder of influence, and many other ladders that people dream of climbing. He was, in a sense, on top of the world, until all of a sudden he fell off every single ladder that he was climbing. We might laugh or feel sorry for Stu, but the lesson for us today is that every single one of us is climbing a particular ladder in our own life. We want to be more successful at work. And if we are at school, we want to get better grades and graduate faster. We want to take some shortcuts sometimes. We want to have more friends. We want to have more digits on our bank account statements. We want a better reputation. Or we want to climb new ladders every single day. The important faith question for us is, are we climbing up the right ladder? And are we doing the right things as we are climbing those particular ladders? This theme of the ladder is important for us today because it is the fourth Sunday of Lent. And on this Sunday, we commemorate St. John, also known as St. John of the Ladder, who was born in Syria in the year 579 and became the abbot of a monastery on Mount Sinai in Egypt. He is famous for writing the book, The Ladder of Divine Ascent, also called The Ladder of Virtues. Just as the title may suggest, he felt the most important ladder we should be climbing is the ladder of virtue and faith. We climb up so many ladders every single day. We put pressures and we put expectations on ourselves and on our families in many ways. But sometimes those ladders are not leading us to where we should be. Imagine, if you will, for a short period of time, if you wanted to fix your roof because it was leaking and damaging your house. You, of course, get a ladder. You get to the top, and you realize it's a big job, so you hire some people to help you, and you spend thousands of dollars and countless hours fixing your roof. When you're done, you go down, take some pictures, and are amazed at how great of a roof you just completed. But then you realize something very important. You realize you made only one mistake. You went up the wrong ladder, and you ended up fixing your neighbor's roof. We sometimes get on the wrong ladder and get excited about what we see, but the perspective is sometimes all off. In his book, St. John teaches us to make sure we are on the ladder of virtue, not on the ladder of worldly success and worldly honors. In particular, he encourages us to focus on renouncing the attachments we have for things of this world. His 30 steps of the ladder includes topics such as detachment, repentance, control of our anger, talkativeness, gossip, lying, purity, vainglory, simplicity, and a few other topics. The Bible also teaches us to work harder at climbing the ladder of virtue than we do every other ladder we are currently climbing. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, we read, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be yours as well." So if we work hard to live a life of virtue, we will be happy. But if we only seek happiness, then virtue and honesty are sometimes too easily compromised. That is why patience with God and ourselves is always important on this spiritual path. As today's reading to the Hebrews reminds us, thus Abraham, having patiently endured, obtained the promise. That's a particular characteristic of all the saints. Patience with themselves and patience with God. We might think that Stu Leonard was smart but too greedy. His life is tragic because he climbed up the wrong ladder, then fell off. But which ladders are we climbing? The fact that all of you are here, and those praying with us online, the fact that you've spent time and dedicated time of your week to be here, shows that you want to climb up the right ladder, that ladder of faith and virtue. In this journey, we should be solidly convinced that God is with us and helping us on every step. At work, God is with us. At school, God is with us. At home, God is with us. God is with us to make every aspect of our life even better. And when we struggle, when we stumble, when we fall, God is also with us. Jesus tells us, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Take these words to heart. Realize that this journey and our progress to virtue and faith may not be quick, but God is accompanying us and giving us strength in our journey. Unfortunately, sometimes our faith is shaken when things go bad in our life. If we have health problems, if we go through financial difficulties, if we have a death in the family, or if we face any other challenge or difficulty. Unfortunately, these topics, like these trials and tribulations, shake people's faith. When these things happen, we need to hold on with a firmer grasp of our ladder of faith rather than let go. We shouldn't expect faith to be some sort of superstitious activity that we do to make sure that everything in our life goes well. But rather, faith is an opportunity to be with God, to get strength from God, and to remind us of the bigger picture of life. Faith, if you will, is like a train. It leaves the station, but then it goes up and down mountains. It goes over rivers, and sometimes it goes through tunnels. We keep trusting the conductor throughout the journey, and definitely do not jump out when we go through a dark tunnel or over a rough patch. We trust the skill of the conductor who will get us through to our destination. Faith, especially in times of darkness and difficulty, brings us comfort and helps us see the bigger picture of the meaning of our life. We are not here on earth simply to eat, simply to drink, simply to buy, sell, work, and sleep, and repeat for the next day. God has a bigger plan for each and every one of us, both here and in heaven as we spend eternity with Him. Stu Leonard was on the wrong ladder, then slipped off. He paid for it, both financially and with his tarnished reputation. St. John wrote that the ladder of virtues is the right ladder. By fasting and prayer, we move from one step to the next. This daily journey of faith helps us to hold on so that we do not fall off, hurt ourselves, and of course, hurt so many people around us. As we continue our Lenten journey, and as we get closer to our celebrations of the death and resurrection of Christ, let us always be confident that when we are on the ladder of living our faith, God strengthens us on each step as we draw closer and closer to Him.